Hello, third grade. For the first day of your boot camp, you will create the drawing that you will eventually paint all of your tints and tones inside of. For the first step of this project, you're going to need to collect your supplies. You will need a small piece of paper, a Sharpie, it could be super, it could be regular or thin, doesn't matter, a pencil, and a ruler. Once you've collected all of your supplies, the first thing you're going to need on your paper is your name. After you write your name, put your class and a 3 in front of it. So, for instance, third grade, and then right there inside of the circle, you'll put your class letter. Flip that around and we can get started. For the first step, you're just going to make a dot somewhere near the middle of your paper. It doesn't have to be right exactly in the middle, but somewhere near it. Once you've made your dot, you're going to draw lines coming from that dot to the edge of your paper. You need at least 3, but I suggest do not do more than 6. So 3, 4, 5, or 6. I got my ruler, and I'm going to draw 4 lines. So I'm going to match up my pencil to the dot, draw a line against my ruler all the way to the edge of my paper. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, now that I made my 4 lines, I'm going to make some dots on those lines that I just drew. I'm going to space them out equally, so if you would like to measure with your ruler, you're allowed to, or if you want to use some sort of other tool to measure equally, you can do that as well. I like to use my fingers, about 2 fingers apart. That's about an inch for me. So I'm going to start right here on this line, start at the dot. On the other side of my fingers, I'll make a dot, scoot it down. I'm going to do this until I get all the way to the end. I'm going to do that to my next 3 lines, and in just a second, you'll see that completed. Okay, so I finished up with all of my dots on all of my lines, spaced about 2 fingers apart. The next step is to connect all of these dots to make a shape. So I like to use my ruler for this, and all I will do is find the first set of dots, match up 2 of them, draw a line. Okay, I'm going to do that all the way around. So I'll go to this side next, up to the top, and back down. So for the next step, all I will do is the same exact thing that I just did, just a little bit bigger on the next set of dots until I reach the edge. In just a second, you will see that. Okay, so I've traced all of my lines, connected all of my dots, and for the final step with your pencil, I would suggest that if you have any big areas like this and this left over, try to fill them in with maybe some more lines, but you won't be able to use dots with that. So here's what I would like to do. I like to match up my ruler with the last line that I drew and just slide it down just a little bit, about the same width as my ruler, and make a line. I could do this all the way till I reach the edge, and I'll have just a little sliver right up here. I'm going to do the same thing over on this side, maybe draw 1 or 2 more lines. So match up the angle, slide it down a little bit, draw a line. Match up the angle, slide it down a little bit, draw a line. Okay, perfect. Now that I've filled this up, the next step is to grab your Sharpie and start tracing. If you have a very steady hand, you can trace all of your pencil lines freehanded, like me. Or if you want it to be perfect and precise and nice and straight, perfectly straight, you can use a ruler. So if I was going to do that, grab your ruler, match it up with one of your pencil lines, and slide it across the edge. In just a second, you're going to see me trace all of my lines with Sharpie. Okay, so I've traced all of my lines in Sharpies. Once you get to this step, you are done with day number 1. In day number 2, which I'll teach you next week, you will be starting to fill in all of these areas with some tints and shades of one color, creating a monochromatic color scheme. Tune in next week, and I'll show you how we will fill this in.